English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Minnie.
We are on page 16 and 17, and we're beginning day 1 of our 2-day article called Building Better Animal Shelters.
我们今天的主题是友善毛孩，领养代替购买。
So a shelter, it really means a house, but this kind of house is very special. When we say shelter, we're talking about something very simple. Pretend you are on a mountain and you can't get home. There's no home, there's no house, there's no tent. But it's very cold, so you need to stay warm at night. Maybe you take some plants and some trees and some leaves, and you make a very, very simple house. This is a shelter. So for animals, their house is not super special, and we want to talk about those animal shelters today.
那 shelter 这个字其实当动词的时候，它是一个遮蔽、保护的意思。那 shelter 呢，当名词的时候，它其实就是收容所。那老师刚刚讲的，想象你在山上，什么都没有，只有一间小木屋，然后你可能拿几个叶子去当你的床，这样子，就是一个很简陋的地方，让你稍微遮风避雨的地方，我们就叫它 shelter.
Ready? I'm going to reach to the children here. Ready? Guys, here's how you know what a shelter is. You know when you play Minecraft?The first thing you do is build that little house so the zombies don't eat you. That's a shelter. All the young people right now, we're just like, oh,
卖快哦。
let's look at our subtitle. How animal shelters in Taiwan are making adoption easier.
那我们的子标题是台湾的动物收容所如何让领养更加容易呢？
All right, let's take a quick break. Let's hear our story. And when we come back, we got paragraph 1.
Building better animal shelters. In the past, animal shelters in Taiwan were horrible places. Most of them were very old buildings that were dirty, noisy, and crowded. For animals, living on the street might have been a better option than going to one of these shelters. In 2014, the government decided to change this. Since then, 26 animal shelters in 20 cities across Taiwan have been rebuilt, renovated, or repaired with support from the government. The new buildings are so beautiful that some have even become tourist attractions. For example, the Taichung Animal Shelter Huli Park has won awards for its beautiful design. In 2017, the government also made a new law that no longer allowed shelters to kill animals that didn't get adopted. Even though this saves animals' lives, it means there are even more animals living in shelters. Fortunately, the larger new shelters can provide more space for the strays. More importantly, people will be more likely to adopt animals because the new shelters are more pleasant to visit. Some shelters, such as the one in Kaohsiung's Yanqiao district, even have a space where people can spend time with the pets before adopting them. The shelter is Taiwan's first animal education park and plays a role in educating visitors about the importance of animal life.
Hey friends, welcome back, and let's look at paragraph 1. In the past, animal shelters in Taiwan were horrible places.
Yes, 所以呢 in the past 在过去，那在过去台湾的动物收容所是一个很 horrible 很糟糕的地方。
This is a very clear sentence. It tells you the writer's opinion very quickly, very fast.
没错。
There's no guessing. So horrible is a very strong word. We could say terrible here. Let's continue. Most of them were very old buildings that were dirty, noisy, and crowded.
那大部分的收容所以前啦，大部分都是很肮脏、很嘈杂，然后很 crowded、很拥挤的那种老式的建筑。
I feel like I can imagine this, right? There's no pretty walls. Like the floors are very cold and gray. Like the cages for your animals are just like metal. Yeah, like you always see them like in commercials, like
好可怜哦。
Yeah, I agree. 很可怜, that's exactly what it is. You feel so sorry for the animals. Let's continue. For animals, living on the street might have been a better option than going to one of these shelters.
那在那个年代呢，就是对动物来说，生活在街上可能都比去到任何一个收容所还要好哦。
So we can draw some parentheses, little brackets around the phrase living on the street. might have been a better option than going to one of these shelters. It helps you kind of know how we say this. We won't say live on the road. When we're just kind of 流浪 and you just 没有房子, you'll say you're on the street or on the streets with an S.
对，所以流浪街头，我们街头常常会说啊 road 啊 street 都可以讲，但是在英文里面这个片语就是 on the street， 流浪街头不会说 on the road。
Now, option just means a choice.
选择
So choice, choice. But option is 这个 T 有 SH 的发音，写下来。And then going to one of these shelters. Let's continue to our next sentence. In 2014, 还是2014, the government decided to change this.
那在这边2014年，注意年份是前面两个，后面两个一起念，所以你可以说2014 2014，或者你写2014 2014都可以哦。所以在2014年呢，政府决定要改变这种情形。
This is news to me. When something is news to you, that means you didn't know it before. And I didn't know this. I really did not know this. This was very interesting. Let's see. Since then, 26 animal shelters in 20 cities across Taiwan have been rebuilt, renovated, or repaired with support from the government.
那从2014年，从那个时候开始，26座横跨台湾20个城市的动物收容所呢，就被重建、装修或者是修建。
Okay, so we can look at these words rebuilt, renovated, or repaired, and 英文真的很烦，都是 R，
然后都读音不一样啊。
对嘛 English is so hard. So RE 是再一次的意思，所以要写一个再。And listen to me, rebuilt. E is 长 E， 写下来。下一个 is renovated, and 这个 E is short E. Then we have repaired. 这个 E is a short U. So we got rebuilt, renovated, and repaired. No, to be fair, you could say repaired. You could say that, but I think naturally more foreigners will say repaired. 小心这个 renovated, this means to renew. 这个 NOV actually is just nova, Latin, just a 新的意思 made new.
Yeah.
So let's continue. The new buildings are so beautiful that some have even become tourist attractions.
那这个重新建的这个建筑啊，漂亮到甚至成为了 new attraction 新的观光景点哦。
So we have the present perfect tense in the story here. So let's underline this, have even become. And so 自从这个过去的时间到了现在，从什么时候 when this building was rebuilt, renovated, or repaired, 到现在在这个时间里内 it's become a tourist attraction. People want to go and look at it. I did not know this. This is news to me again. I did not know there's a tourist attraction animal shelter.
台中
Is it? Have you been there?
Yeah.
Is it? And how do you feel?
I just feel like it's more homey and less scary, and you don't need to worry about being like abandoned in there.
I love your opinions on this because when you want to go to an animal shelter, do you think it's better for the animals to look so Korean is kind of cold and uncomfortable, or do you want it to be like a warm house feeling?
Well, think about it. 如果今天你要买一个娃娃，然后它的盒子很烂，你会买吗？
This is really interesting because when I was a kid, there were commercials on TV, and they would show the animals talking about the animal shelter, and they pick the saddest looking cat and dog they could. And I think they wanted you to feel sorry. But I like this idea. If you want to go there and you feel comfortable there and you want to spend time there, you're going to walk home with an animal, right?
Yes.
I think that's a really good thinking.
Yeah.
I tried to research why this changed and I couldn't find an answer. But I think whoever thought of this idea, you are very smart.
In Taiwan, you can look up, there's a movie called 12夜.
Just
12 nights.
This really? Is it sad?
It's very sad.
Are you going to make me cry watching this?
The first movie is really sad.
There's multiple movies.
2, like a documentary movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't. That's like emotional poison. You like watch this. You're like, why am I watching this? Yes, I would be
because
crying.
before 12夜, this movie, like animals, they live in the shelter. They stay in the shelter until they have to be killed because no one wants them.
It's a kill shelter. We'll talk about this a little later. Yeah.
但12夜之后就都没有了.
Wow, and this is a documentary.
sort of a documentary.
Interesting. Okay, well, we got to talk more about this. Let's continue to our next sentence here. For example, the Taichung Animal Shelter Holy Park has won awards for its beautiful design.
所以我们刚刚讲到的这个 attraction 观光景点，那接下来我们马上就告诉你 ，for example 举例说明哦，台中市的这个动物之家后里园区，因为它的漂亮的设计，还获奖喽。
Okay, it's quiz time, everybody. So, well, I'm going to ask you a question, and Minnie, you might know the answers here. And let's see if you guys can get the right answer. So I'll ask the question, give you 2 or 3 seconds to answer, and then we'll reveal the truth here. Okay? So what is more popular to adopt from a shelter? Cats or dogs? Right? And what do you think?
Definitely cats.
Cats, yeah, for sure. Cats are adopted a lot more than dogs from shelter. And I think it's because, like, I have 9 cats. Yeah, and I have 9 cats in my house, and, like, I could have more cats, but I kind of don't want more cats in my house. I would want a bigger house to have more cats. And it's okay. It's not bad. You just got to scoop the poop a lot and then and everything. You just got to have a few cat boxes and keep it clean, and they're fine. Keep lots of little boxes from the sleeping. But if you have 9 dogs in your house, that's a lot tougher.
I cannot
Your face
imagine.
says so much. Your face says so much. Oh, yes, very noisy. Now, what other animals can you adopt from a shelter? What do you think?
Snakes.
You can get anything.
Yeah.
You will be surprised if you go to an animal shelter, especially if you call to some animal shelters, you will find someone that has some kind of animal that you want. You want a lizard? You got a lizard. You want a bird? You got a bird. You want a spider? I got a spider. You want a cockroach? You just go outside. Just go outside. Just take him, put him in your bag. He's my baby now.
Gecko.
Yes, geckos. What else? What else would be a good one? Fish? Got a
Iguana.
Fish. Iguana. What else?
What's
the biggest animal you'd want in your house?
I don't want any big animals in my house.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want any big animals.
Yeah, my husband is big enough.
All right.
With biggest pet.
With that, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we got more of our story. Hey friends, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on pages 16 and 17 of our magazine. So Minnie, you had another good animal. What did you say?
Guinea pig.
Guinea pigs. Weep, weep, weep. You know some.
Weep, weep.
Yeah, their sounds when they eat. They're so happy. They're so cute. You know some people eat them.
I know.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
I know. Oh, don't forget guinea pig. 不是 genius pig 哦.
Genius pig.
I have so many students. They say, 老师，我养了一只 genius pig, and I'm like,
it's really smart. Yeah, guinea. That's funny. They are really smart. In 2017, the government also made a new law that no longer allowed shelters to kill animals that didn't get adopted.
那2017年开始哦，一样要注意年份的念法。政府也制定了新的法律，不再允许这个收容所杀死未被领养的动物了。
So this is called a no-kill shelter.
No
这个
kill
no and kill 中间你need your连字号。You need your little hyphen, no kill shelter, and the no kill here becomes your adjective. Now, allow shelters to is great English. 当然 allow 可以改到 let. 小心 we don't say let shelters to. That's super wrong. 写下来 let, 然后那个 to 你擦掉。
对，如果用 let 就不需要 to。
No to.
然后
Let
用
to is
allow
super wrong.
才需要 to。
Now, this is a good thing, I think, for a lot of animals because when shelters don't have a lot of money, they will just kill animals to make more room. But there's also problems with this, too. I think there's a lot of good and bad here you have to look at. And I think this is interesting. Ready? Our next sentence says, even though this saves animal lives, it means there are even more animals living in shelters.
即使这么做拯救了动物的生命，这也意味着更多的动物会住在收容所内了。
Now, so these animals will live in small cages. There's not a lot of room, and that's a bad thing. And some animals, they're feral. The word is feral, F-E-R-A-L. Feral, it means like wild. 它比较流浪. They are not a cat you can hold. They're not a dog you can play with. They're really afraid of people. And most feral animals can't get used to. 不可以习惯 people. So they never get adopted. And they spend their whole life in a little box. It's That's like jail, isn't it?
Sound pretty depressing.
It sounds pretty depressing. Some people I know, and of course I won't say their name, I know they adopt those feral animals and they let them go in their neighborhood and then they take care of them.
Oh.
They'll feed
like community cats.
Yeah, they're basically community cats. And you know, that also has problems because cats kill birds. That's bad, but they kill cockroaches. So every good solution has its problem.
Yeah.
So let's continue here. Fortunately, luckily, the larger new shelters can provide more space for the strays.
那老师刚刚有讲 fortunately 其实就可以等同于 luckily 就是幸运的是新的收容所可以提供较大的空间给流浪动物
So we can provide A for B. That's a good phrase. We can underline that. Provide A for B. Provide more space for the strays. Now, a stray really means to run away. So when you stray, you run away from mommy, daddy, your home. Some people, if they cheat on their husband or wife, they stray. But this really means like the animals without houses. They're strays. But 这个原本可能就是都没有房子. They did not have someone.
所以 stray 其实就是流浪野生
That's right.
野生的意思
Now your cat was a stray, right?
Yeah, he was a street cat.
How did you find him?
When I was still in college, sophomore year, I walk on the street ready to go get some lunch, and then I suddenly, it was like drizzling, 下小雨, and then I walk on the street and I hear, meow. And I was like, what is that? So I look into a very small alley, 一个很小的巷子，那种防火巷.
Yeah.
And then I saw like 一捆 like a water tube.
Yeah.
然后我就看到一只小小的猫咪，比手掌还要小在底下。
I was just going to ask how big he was.
Yeah, it was like very super tiny. It's like only a month old. Eyes are not even open yet.
Wow, he was tiny.
Yeah.
Like super tiny.
Yeah.
Wow. And he's a nice orange cat. He's
Yes.
really handsome. So he must have been just adorable when he was small.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Minnie's cat is really, really handsome. Like a nice orange kitty.
Pretty fat as well. 6.5 kilo.
Well, he went from not being able to open your eyes to being a big fat boy.
Yep.
My cats are all strays too. They're all just like street cats. I'm like, here's a cat. You need a home. Here we go. We had some kittens. The moms rejected them. So we don't want you. And like, so they would die by themselves. So we took them. I remember I was in class and I got a lot of pings. And normally my phone is off, but my wife can ping me in an emergency. She can send me a message. And I got like ping, ping, ping from my wife. I knew she wanted to talk. And there's this really sick-looking kitten in a tree, like, she's like, can I take him in? I'm like, all right. He was a bad
That's
cat.
her emergency.
Yes. I mean, but to be fair, we did save his life. Like, Mom did not want him. Mom would beat him up. Yeah, so he was a naughty boy, though. But he's a good boy now.
猫咪很幸运
Let's continue here. More importantly, people will be more likely to adopt animals because the new shelters are more pleasant to visit.
More importantly, 这也是写作的时候很好用的一个哦。更重要的是，人领养动物的意愿会提升，因为参观收容所的体验变好了。这就我刚刚讲的嘛，对不对？娃娃的包装要好，你才会想买它。
That's right. Was it 一分钱一分货?
一分钱一分货。
I really feel like that because it's like, of course, you don't want to spend a lot of money on a shelter, but if you do make it look like a home, you do paint the walls and make it warm and comfortable, people will adopt more animals. That little bit of extra money, 真的很划算. This is such a good idea. I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
So pleasant, be careful.
Pleasant.
EA. Don't say pleasant. That's wrong. Pleasant, short E. Let's continue. Some shelters, such as the one in Kaohsiung's Yanqiao district, even have a space where people can spend time with the pets before adopting them.
这个也很棒哦，有一些收容所，例如在这个高雄燕巢区的收容所，甚至有一个让人们在领养前跟动物相处的地方。我们交往男女朋友都要相处过才决定要不要在一起，对不对？
This is in America, I volunteered at an animal shelter, and they had something like this. This is
in
really
Banqiao
cool.
as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they have like a little room where you could put the animal and kind of spend time with them. Yeah, I love this. Get them out of the cage, sit down on the floor with them, play with some toys. You really
Socializing a bit.
That's right. Or if you have like a really social cat that's new or just needs more attention, that room is usually in the front where people can see this animal. And that's such a good idea. You sit there with your little buddy having fun.
Yeah, makes me want another cat already.
Here we go. Let's continue. The shelter is Taiwan's first animal education park and plays a role in educating visitors about the importance of animal lives.
那这件 Life, yes. 这间收容所呢是台湾它第一座动物教育园区哦，它叫做 Education Park。哇，这个名字取得真好。然后在教育参访者有关就是它是这个参访的地方，它是在教育参访者有关动物生命的重要性，然后它也扮演就是非常重要的角色。
When we play a role in something, we're helping, but 小心 play a role in 有解析词 so educating 要加一个 ing. 如果这个擦掉你写 help, you need to say help to educate visitors about 怎么样怎么样
或 help educate.
There we go. Oh, of course, because help doesn't need to. With that, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, it's time for vocab review. Hey! All right, friends, it's time for vocab review. Our first word is a noun, a shelter.
Shelter 在这边是名词哦，收容所的意思。
You could give somebody shelter. And you can also shelter somebody. This just means like give them a place to stay.
保护.
That's right. Number 2 is a noun, and then we have the verb. The noun is adoption. And the verb is to adopt.
那这边注意它是 adopt，OK， 所以有 tion 的是名词，是代表领养的名词。那如果是没有 tion 的是动词，也是领养的意思。
Number 3 is a fun word to say, horrible.
Horrible， 听起来
Horrible.
就很糟糕，因为这个字就是糟糕。
Horrible. So it's a fun word to say. Number 4 is an option or a choice.
选择。
Number 5, you allow somebody to verb.
允许某人去做某事 ，allow someone to do something.
Or we let somebody
Do something.
Do something.
Yeah.
That's right. Number 6, fortunately.
练习一下这个字的读音哦 ，fortunately 代表是幸运地。
And 这个 T5 一个 CH, 赶快写下来 fortunately. Number 7, we provide something for somebody.
提供某个东西给某人，所以这边给某人的给呢，我们是用 for。
And number 8, we play a role in noun or gerund.
那这边的 play 不是玩哦 ，play 是扮演，所以 play a role in 就是扮演在什么地方扮演什么样的角色。
And that's it for vocab. Now, our question for you today, have you been to an animal shelter? Do you volunteer or help at an animal shelter? Why or why not? Tell us down in those comments. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow.
你有没有去过这个收容所呢？那你在那边做什么？那你觉得怎么样？告诉我们哦。
And for Enjoy English School, I am Chris Gorski.
I'm Minnie.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.